Right, guys, we are back for the application section of this lesson, and we're just going to talk about some more opportunities and examples for us to practice the skill that we've learned today, which is graphing algebraic expressions. So Josh buys baseball hats for his team. It costs $15 for the art setup. The cost per hat is shown. So I'm going to draw that out right now. So the cost per hat is, so number of hats, and then cost. We have 0, 15, 1, 25, 2, 35, 3, 45. Okay, so the first thing I need us to do is to practice our plot points. So let's go into this corner in here and let's do the plot points. So plot point number 1 is 0, 15, which means we're going to be starting from the entrance of the graph. Plot point number 2 is 1 and 25. Number 3 is 2, 35. And number 3 is 3, 45. Again, all I want you to remember is that this number, the first number in the plot point, that is the term number, okay? And this plot point is always the term value, so whatever it is. The reason that we start at 0 and 15 is because there is a constant of $15 no matter what. So even if before you even buy a hat, you have to get the art set up. So that's why it's 0. No hats have been bought, but we still need to pay the $15 fee for setup, okay? So we've got our plot points down. If we wanted to, just really quickly, if we wanted to continue it, the next one would obviously be 455, right? Because we can already see the pattern going up. So let's create the pattern rule now. Let's do that on this side. So I can see from just looking at this that we start at 15 and we go to 25, which means that this is increasing by 10. 25 to 35, it's still increasing by 10. So we know it's a linear equation. So what we're going to do is we're going to write 10n, right? Because 10 is the repetitive addition that's happening. And then we're going to figure out, okay, well, 10 times 0, we have the 0 term already here, right? And what's the 0 value, or the constant? It's 15. So, and that makes sense, right? When we look at this, it makes sense. It says no matter how many hats we buy, each hat is $10, it looks like. Whatever amount of hats we buy, it's going to be $15 on top of that, whatever that total price is. Okay, and then the last part is to graph it. So we're just going to draw a makeshift graph. We're going to start at 15. We're going to label it, obviously. I'm just going to move this. You know what? I'm going to just make this a little bit shorter so you guys can see it. So we'll just do it here. So we're going to have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to start at 15 here. 15, and we're going to go up by 10, 25, 35, 45, 55, and then we're going to use our plot points. So we're going to say 0, 15, so this is going to be right on that dot. 1, 25, 2, 35, 3, 45, 4, 55. So we've got our chart, and we could continue this chart and be able to see what the 5th, 6th, 7th one would have been. So I want you to actually do one yourself. I have one written on this next page. This one's more of a geometric pattern. So take a look at the geometric pattern that I've created, and I'd like you to write down the ordered pairs, write down the pattern rule, and then graph it, please. So pause, take a moment and go through it, okay? Okay, so you're back. Now if you were following along and recognizing that the same skill is being used from the first lesson, is the first thing that you would want to do is you'd want to create your value chart. So in figure 1, 2, and 3, in figure 1 we have 3 blocks. In figure 2 we have 4 blocks. And in figure 3 we have 5 blocks. So the ordered pairs would start at 1 because we don't have a 0, 1, right? So your ordered pairs would be, let's write them up here. They'd be 1 and 3, 2 and 4, and 3 and 5. Okay, so you've got your ordered pairs. You're ready to start graphing. Once you're ready, we need to write a pattern of rules. So we go back to our chart and we say, okay, this is going up by 1. This is going up by 1. This is a really easy one to go backwards to the 0. So we're going to subtract 1, and we know it's going to be 1. So you could write this 1n, but I really want you guys to get out of that process. And I want you to understand that when you just have 1, just write n. So n, and then we know it's plus 2, which makes sense because 1 does not equal 3. 1 and then plus 2 equals 3. 2 plus 2 equals 4. So we've got our n plus 2. And now we're going to graph it. And so we've got an easier graph to do. We could probably even, if we wanted to, start at 0 on both ends and just go up by that. So we could have, and we can go up by 1 on the other side. Oh, it should be 0. And then we'll go up a little bit higher here. So we got 1, take this one out, 2, 3, and 4. And we should also have 5 apparently. Okay, and then we'll plot it on our list. So 1 is 3, 2 is 4, 3 is 5. And we can draw one like this because, you know, we'll start it here and it will be a growing pattern in that sense. Okay, so that's kind of the application section. The last part we're going to do is a thinking area where I have one that I'm going to do with you guys and then one that you're going to do on your own. And then there'll be some exit card stuff as well. Okay, I'll see you in a bit.